Hello, everybody. Max Abelman here. Before we get into the episode, we have an exciting announcement. We just launched our new website. It's at whatdoyoumedia.com, and it has some amazing new features that we're really excited about. It has all of our social media links right there on the homepage, and it has an easy contact us page for you to send us emails easily. Another exciting feature is our voicemail option that's also right there on the homepage. You can send us a voice message, and if we start getting some good responses in our voice message inbox, we might start incorporating them into our show. You could get on our show. Once again, that website is www.whatdoyoumedia.com. You can find the link in the description below. Thanks for listening, everyone. And now get ready for What Do You Mean You've Never Seen?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What Do You Mean You've Never Seen, a podcast that explores and analyzes prestigious and popular films that one of us has never seen before. I'm your host, Jonathan Colon, and I'm joined as always by my co-hosts, Jennifer Branch.
Hey, everybody.
And Max Abelman.
Hello, everybody.
Joining us this week is our special guest host, Caitlin Larkin. Hello, Caitlin.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
And what would you like to tell the listeners about yourself, Caitlin?
Oh, geez. I'm just a big, giant nerd. I love all things pop culture, whether that be movies, TV, and music. I also host my own podcast called What the Flux. We talk about all things Back to the Future. And yes, so I hope that there's never an episode of What Do You Mean You've Never Seen Back to the Future, because then I'm going to have to smack somebody.
Well, not unless we have a guest that hasn't seen it, because we have definitely all seen Back to the Future.
Yeah, I don't think I know anyone who has not seen Back to the Future.
If you're out there and you haven't seen Back to the Future, come on our podcast. And Caitlin will smack you.
I will literally smack you. But yeah, no, super happy to be here. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us as we discuss this week's film, The Goonies. The Goonies, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe this is both Jennifer and Caitlin's first time viewing this film. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, it is correct.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
Caitlin specifically, when I asked her to be on the podcast, she was like, yeah, people always give me crap for having not seen The Goonies. I was like, well, I haven't seen it either. That's what we're doing.
yeah, so we certainly did watch this movie, didn't we?
We sure did.
Ooh, so let's get it is a film, and we have watched it. Let's get right into it. The Goonies is a 1985 American adventure comedy film, co-produced and directed by Richard Donner, screenplay by Chris Columbus, based on a story by Steven Spielberg. So these are some heavy hitters, folks. Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone, Steven Spielberg, who is Steven Spielberg, and Richard Donner, who directed the original Superman and all of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Some serious
Those
talent.
people put this movie on the screen.
Which is another reason why I can't believe that before last night I hadn't seen this movie, because I grew up in such a heavy Steven Spielberg home. I mean, hell, I have a Back to the Future podcast that's an Amblin film, which was, produced by Steven Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy, who also did The Goonies. So it's just it's weird that I hadn't seen this movie before.
Yeah, I had not remembered that there were so many like mega producers and like big Hollywood talent that were behind this movie. I remembered that Richard Donner directed it, but I was like, wow, story by Steven Spielberg.
I didn't know that Chris Columbus was associated with this movie either. I was like, wait, what? Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that he wrote movies, actually, because he didn't write Home Alone. That was written by John Hughes. And then, of course, he famously directed the first two Harry Potter movies.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Chris Columbus wrote Gremlins. I think that
Maybe
was
he
his.
did.
I think that was his entry onto the scene. I could be wrong about that.
Which
Don't at me.
Is another Amblin-centered film.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, Spielberg was all over the place in the 80s, man. Okay, so the film stars, and again, this is like a crazy who's who of, these are not like child actors that just disappeared.
It is a stacked cast.
Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Jeff Cohen, Corey Feldman, Cary Green, Martha Plimpton, and Ki-Hai Kwan, who was famously in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Short round.
So yeah, you've got Short Round, you've got Samwise Gamgee, Thanos, and also Cable.
Right? The mom from Raising Hope.
Yeah, Martha Plimpton, who is like, is like super serious actress. And of course, then you've got Corey Feldman and Carrie Green, who I don't know what she did after this, but I hope she's doing well.
She looks vaguely familiar. Maybe she looks like somebody from Square Pegs, something like that. I feel like she was somewhere in the 80s. She looked super familiar to me.
Yeah. And girls with red hair were very popular in the 80s. Like it was her, the girl from Troop Beverly Hills.
Molly Ringwald. Yeah, all the redheads.
I think Elizabeth Shue even had red hair back then.
Ariel.
Oh. The cultural significance of this movie, I think, cannot be understated. It's very similar to The Princess Bride in that anyone in my age range is a super fan of this movie or has seen it a bunch of times. I know people that say that they watch it, every couple of months, or like they'll get together with their friends and watch it. Basically, like the elevator pitch for this movie is like it's an Indiana Jones story, but with kids.
This is like a true what do you mean you've never seen? Because when I said I was watching this for the first time, this is the most comments I've gotten on any of the movies that I've talked about on Facebook or anything. This was the one that people are like, what? No way. You haven't seen it?
It's impossible.
Like, nope.
Yeah, this is the one that I never tell people that I haven't seen because of that exact reason, because I don't want that backlash.
Right. Yeah. People get real upset.
They do.
Yeah.
I think maybe even more so than The Princess Bride. With The Princess Bride, people will be like, oh, you have to watch it. But if you say you haven't seen the Goonies, they're like, I'm going to murder you right now.
How is it possible that we're even friends? Like,
yeah. Like, do you even exist? Are you even a real person? Are you a robot? Just a brief plot description of this movie. It's about a bunch of kids. Sean Astin is the main kid and Josh Brolin is his older brother. They are living in Astoria, Oregon, and the rich people are going to take their house. I don't know how that works really. Like, if you're rich, you can't just be like, okay, we're foreclosing on your house. But they're going to build a golf course where they live. And they live in a place called the Goon Docks, and that's why they get called the Goonies. Sean Astin's character, Mikey, their father has a bunch of historical stuff in his attic, and they find a treasure map that he believes will lead them to One-Eyed Willie's treasure, which will save their home. And so they follow the map, they go on some adventures, they run into some really comedic villains, question mark, and they eventually find a tunnel that goes like underground, and they face some booby traps, standard like, adventure, discovery, national treasure type stuff, and they're being pursued by these bad guys who also have a very strong, very disfigured guy chained up in their basement that eventually breaks free and follows. Yeah, it's the brother. Yeah, it's a mother and two sons, one of whom is Joe Pantoliano. It's like, wow,
I was
so much.
super taken aback by that, by the way. When I saw him appear on the screen, I was just like, oh, snap.
Yeah, I would be no less surprised if it was like Al Pacino playing one of the brothers, right? It's like, what is the caliber of the casting and the behind the scenes talent of this thing is amazing. By all accounts, it should have been like the greatest movie ever made.
Well,
but we'll get into it.
I do think it is.
But instead, we have an Italian crime family where only one person is Italian.
Yes.
And the rest are Irish.
I have so many questions.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
So they do a bunch of stuff. They eventually find the pirate ship. They have a confrontation with the villains. They accidentally blow a hole in the cave where the ship is, which actually we recently saw a movie called Uncharted, which I felt had a similar ending.
Yeah, it did.
And the ship breaks free. They manage to, even though the villains take away all the gold that they had collected, Mikey manages to sneak out with a bunch of jewels in his marble bag, and that's enough to save the house. And presumably all the families get to stay in their gross, ugly houses, and the golf course doesn't get built, which is the real tragedy of this movie, I think, because who doesn't want to play on a golf course in Astoria, Oregon? I mean,
that sounds lovely.
It sounds like it would just be constant wet. Like you would walk away, like the bottom of your pants and your shoes would just be completely mossy green and gross and wet.
I have so many questions, but we'll get there. Okay.
Yeah. So moving on, let's talk about what we knew about the movie prior to this viewing. We're going to start with our guest first. So Caitlin, we want to know what you knew about the film and the plot. Was it accurate to what you thought it was going to be? What did you think about this movie prior to your viewing?
So prior to it, I only knew, I knew the whole synopsis because, once again, I'm a huge Spielberg fan. And I also watched a lot of VH1 as a kid. And they always did those I Love the 80s specials where they would talk about the Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
So I was very familiar with the cast, the plot. And for those reasons, are probably why I never watched the movie as a whole, because I was like, well, I basically know what happens. I know about the Truffle Shuffle. I know about Sloth. I know about Corey Feldman. I know about Sean Astin. What else is there that I need to know? I've got all the pieces. And so my biggest fear is that because I hadn't seen this movie as a little kid, was I going to enjoy it as an adult? Because last year, another movie that I had never seen before that people were like, oh my God, Caitlin, you've never seen it? It was Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Oh.
And I am a huge David Bowie fan. I love that man. And I had never seen the movie. So my wife and I sat down and watched it, and I did not like it. And I was like, is it because I don't have that childlike wonder while viewing it?
Yeah.
And so that was my big concern here. And I will tell you, I absolutely adored this film.
Really?
I really did. I was able to kind of put all of that aside, and I just genuinely enjoyed it. Yes, there are parts that are like, really? Can that really happen? You put your adult brain into it. But if you put those things aside, I can see why this movie is so popular, and I see why it still stands the test of time today and why it's still so popular.
Very interesting. How about you, Jennifer?
I felt kind of the same way. Like, I felt like I had seen it, even though I knew I never actually had. But, I'm like, I got it. Kids, pirate ship, treasure map, 80s, whatever. Who cares? And like, same thing. I went into it being like, I think I missed the boat on this one, just like I missed the boat on Princess Bride. And that's why I didn't really care for that one, because I didn't see it as a kid. And I kind of felt the same as Caitlin, that I was going to be like, ugh, this is very dated. This is very of its time. And you had to have watched it as a child to really get it. And I do still feel kind of that way. There's a lot of action that I did enjoy. I enjoyed like the set pieces. I enjoyed the music. I do think it's well made. Like, you can tell the people behind the scenes know what they're doing. But as far as the actual what goes on in the movie, I don't have so much a review of this movie as I have questions. A lot of questions.
All right. How about you, Max? What was your experience with this movie prior to this watch?
Okay, I had watched this movie once before when I was a child. I do not have fond memories of this movie. What I remembered of it was I found it really gross. I found like most of the elements in the movie gross. And I also remember that I was forced to watch this movie with a group of kids who I hated. And it is a movie about a group of kids who I also hate. And I remember sitting there watching it the entire time being like, this is why I hate all of you people. Like, this is the reason why.
Visceral reaction.
Yeah, I was like, I remember watching this movie just in a childhood depression spiral, being like, wow, this movie is why I hate everything. And I'm watching it again.
Here.
Watching it again, yeah, I still kind of hate kids because of this movie. Maybe it's because of this movie why I don't really have the desire to have kids. Like, wow. But before this watch, I could get why other people might enjoy like the joys of parenting. But after this watch, it's just like, if you happen to have a kid who becomes a Goonie, how will you ever look at yourself in the mirror again? If your kids are anything like these kids, how do you live with yourself? Anyways.
Wow.
Those were my impressions of this viewing, I guess. Anyways, I have opinions of this movie. They're not good opinions. Normally I would say don't at me, but come at me. I'll fight you. I don't even care.
Yeah. That's hard to follow up. But my relationship to this movie, I did watch it when I was very young. Probably not when it first came out, but, I must have watched it like on video. Like we've talked in previous episodes about how we would go to Warehouse Video and rent one video at a time. And I think my parents rented this and we watched it. And so I had good memories of it because I saw it as a child. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't watch it for a long, long time. And then I did a rewatch. Gosh, it must have been about 10 years ago. And I was like, oh, this did not hold up to what I thought it was.
No.
It is very different viewing experience as an adult when you've watched it as a kid.
Right.
Like I seriously was I was like, oh, I was excited to watch it. I forget, maybe it came out on DVD and I bought the DVD or something. And I was excited to see it again because I was like, oh, the Goonies, like that was cool. You know, it's like kids being in an adventure. And yeah, it does not live up to my recollection of it. And seeing it again this time, it's still, again, amazing talent involved. But it's just, there's just things about it that we'll get into that I did not particularly enjoy. But let's talk about what it was like to watch it. And we're going to talk to Caitlin first and ask you, what are your thoughts and impressions on the film? Was it an interesting watch? And what stood out about it? And do you have any thoughts about like the length or the pace or the action?
So I found this to be very enjoyable. The beginning was a little bit rough to get through, to be completely honest. But that happens with most movies because you have to set up the stage for this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But once it got into the action of it, you know how when you're watching a movie at home and you can kind of just like sit on your phone and kind of listen to what's going on as you're scrolling through social media and kind of like half paying attention.
Right.
I put my phone down and I was like, okay, I need to know what happens. I need to see what's going to go on. I don't know. It just made me feel very giddy. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person here that really enjoyed this.
That's okay. We still love you, Caitlin.
No, yeah, I think there's a childish sense of wonder in most of this movie. Like you said, the beginning of it is tough to get through. Any other thoughts about what you experienced while you were watching it?
Andy's a hoe.
She is.
She is
such a hoe.
Thoughts on Andy?
Where are this girl's parents? They need to lock her ass up, like, down in the basement.
Yeah, they don't even show up at the end, do they?
Yeah.
I feel like she does have a dad or something that she's hugging, or mom. I don't remember.
Or maybe she's just hugging some random dude because she'll just...
Who knows?
She goes for anybody, literally anyone.
Exactly. Like, this girl is such a hoe. And the best part, of course, is at the very end where they're on the beach and, you know, she starts kissing the brother and their parents are like, we'll let her parents worry about it. It's like, how fucked up is that? Oh, wait, are we allowed to curse on here? I'm sorry.
We'll figure it out as we go. It'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Don't worry about it.
Just be yourself.
I think for this episode, I'll make an exception because I can feel it coming on.
Max is going to drop some F-bombs on this recording.
No,
it's okay. Good. No, you're absolutely correct. She is such a hoe. But what about?
It made me so uncomfortable. Like, you know, when she's like, "Oh, I realized it wasn't actually Brand I kissed. It was actually Mike. But I'm fine with it." Like, what? No.
Well, and forgive me if I'm reading too much into this, and I try not to, but like that speech she gives to him at the end to Mikey, where she said, if you keep kissing girls the way you do, the other parts of you that aren't that great are going to catch up. Is she talking about his penis?
I don't know. I was so uncomfortable with that.
And how does she know it's not that great?
I think it was supposed to be about his asthma, which this movie also contains.
There's lots of asthma.
My least favorite trope, which is just like, oh, I went on an adventure, so I don't have asthma anymore. That's not how that works.
One-Eyed Willie cured him of his asthma. He's like, oh, who needs this?
Oh, my God.
Okay, what about you, Jennifer? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say on the topic of asthma and like his mom is just so serious. Like, oh my God, if you let him leave the house, he's just going to drop dead. Like, it's not that serious. People carry inhalers, lady.
And she also says he's coming down with asthma. I'm like, I don't think that's something that like comes and goes. Like you either have it or you don't. You know, if you have asthma out there and you've ever come down with asthma, please let us know what that experience is like. We'd be interested to hear from you.
This movie does not know what asthma is. It thinks it's like some sort of diagnosed anxiety, but like terminal anxiety disorder.
Well,
it's basically
like
what
that
they think
quick,
it is.
It's like that quick thing to do to show that someone is like kind of a nerd, you know? That's like that quick 80s like shorthand for like, this guy's kind of a dork because he has asthma.
Right. Because
you might as well just put thick rim glasses with tape in the middle.
I mean, he does
it.
have braces, but like the only thing he doesn't have is glasses. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. And as everyone knows, and I'm sure all you people living with asthma out there. I didn't want to say asthma sufferers because it's not. I don't want to say that, but
Asthmatics.
Asthmatics,
you're
absolutely. No, there's no way anyone could ever possibly be good looking and athletic and also have asthma. No.
Sure,
anyone who has asthma, it's because it comes from being a dork.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those are the only people that get it, right? All right. So Jennifer, tell us what your thoughts and impressions about this movie were.
Like I said, I have so many questions. Starting at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on? They're moving tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have not a single box packed. She's got like weird David statue on the coffee table because that's where we all keep our David statues, I guess. And it's not like the rest of her house has any sort of like art. Like it's not like an art themed home. It's just junk and a David statue. Like where did that come
all
from?
that stuff in the attic. Like
So much stuff. There's books on this. I feel like if I was making a movie and I'm like, okay, so the characters in my movie are moving. This is going to be the easiest set ever. We just have to put boxes everywhere. We don't have to put books on.
Exactly.
We don't have to make it look like a lived-in home. They went the opposite way. And they're like books everywhere, statues, nothing's packed. Nobody's concerned about packing, really.
No.
And we're moving tomorrow.
And they go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of groceries.
Right.
Who does that the day before they move?
I think the reason why is because if you did all of that, then you wouldn't have the Rosalita storyline, which is very critical to this movie.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Rosalita.
absolutely.
Rosalita.
Well, there's my second question. How does Corey Feldman know so much Spanish? It's never explained. And he can read Spanish and translate instantly with very like old type that I can't even make out letters at all. And I have pretty good vision.
And when you translate it into English, it rhymes.
I noticed that too. That was another question. I was like, how did they make it rhyme in English?
And what is ye in Spanish? Like ye old. He has the word ye in there. And I'm like, what? Is it just two? Is it like, what is ye in Spanish?
Yes.
So that was, I just have so many questions. I don't understand the whole concept of like their house is getting torn down for a golf course. But if they have enough money, that won't happen. Like what? But their house is getting foreclosed on, but all the houses are getting foreclosed on? Does no one in this neighborhood have money? I have a lot of questions about data. I have so many questions.
Oh, so many questions
I
about
was so
data.
confused.
Oh my gosh. How about you, Max? What do you think?
What do I think? Same. I just had so many questions from the get-go of this movie, starting with whichever one of those guys was in prison. Why is he dressed so nice in prison? He's wearing like, a blazer and a nice scarf. He's coming out of the prison, and then skip a little bit forward, there's like some cheerleaders, and they're all wearing cardigans rather than like cheerleading. It's just, there's a lot that comes at you at this movie, like right from the get-go.
Oh, I was not expecting the movie to start in prison. That was confusing.
Yeah, it was very confusing, and then we get to the house, and then everybody's just sort of talking over each other, and it's like looking at watching children, like middle school children, like in a park, talking to each other. It's like that same energy. That is one thing, is that the child acting is actually pretty good, because it seems like genuinely how these children would be talking to each other.
Right.
But I have a question for you, Jennifer. You're an exercise aficionado.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of the older brother's exercise routine?
Well, I gotta start with the shorts over pants because
Why? It's not unique to this movie. Like you've seen it from the 80s, but
right,
why?
Right. This movie didn't invent that look, but that look makes zero sense. And it's not like, I've seen like shorts over leggings, like maybe, tight pants, but then you don't want it like tight on your crotch and butt. So that's why you wear shorts over them, like baggier shorts. But he's wearing sweatpants. And then shorts over them. So
does he like sweat a lot down there?
I don't
And
know.
he needs to cover that up? Is it the swass? Is he trying to cover up the swass?
The exercise machines he was using and the things he was doing reminded me of like those old cartoons with Goofy. Where they're like, this is how you get into shape. And Goofy goes to the gym, and then he's got that exact same, like, I don't even know what that machine, I guess it's like, the springs, the one they tie him up with.
Yeah.
That's very out of a Goofy cartoon.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but nothing that he was using seemed to have any weight on it or like resistance to it. So like it's not very effective.
Well, and again, why is he working out and have all these weight machines out when they're moving tomorrow?
Yeah, that is also.
And sitting in like a big armchair to do it too. That makes no sense.
Like go outside to work out. I don't know. Like but it's like this could have been so easy. Like just give him a set of dumbbells and have him do bicep curls. That's how we see that he's working out. But like they overcomplicated it. And, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say that I felt that on this rewatch, which I had not noticed before. I think probably because I was watching it with closed captioning on, that the dialogue in the first third of this movie is 90% people telling other people to shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, shut up, Chunk, shut up, Mouth. Why are they always telling everybody else to shut up?
Well, they all do kind of need to shut up. So
Yeah, true.
Understandable. Well, like Max said, I do feel that same way that like maybe the dialogue was, I mean, some of it was a little questionable, but the way they talked and the way they interacted with each other is kind of like how boys this age are, I feel like.
Yeah, it was realistic. I don't know that I necessarily needed to watch the realism.
Yeah.
You know, but I think for me, the viewing of this movie is the multiple times that I've seen it as an adult, I'm always like, oh, I wish I could watch this with the mind of a child again so that I would enjoy it more. But yeah, particularly the beginning of it, like it takes a long time to get going.
Yeah.
And I do feel that once they get on the adventure, you know, once they get down the hole in the fireplace,
It gets a lot better at that
it gets a
point
lot
for me.
better.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
find
yeah, for
their interaction with the Fratellis, I find it to be a little cringe because I don't like the adults acting in that. And their actions don't make sense.
No, not at all.
You know, instead
Yeah.
of just scaring the kids away, she brings the kids into the house and gives them red water,
Yeah.
whatever that was.
Or I was confused by that. I was like, is it dirty water or is she giving them like whiskey or something? I didn't understand.
Yeah, it looked
More
like
questions.
Yeah, so many questions. But yeah, like once you get onto the actual adventure, I do feel like it moves
once
quickly.
they're down in the cave, I like that.
And
part.
it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's less people telling other people to shut up. And
Well, once they actually have like a set goal and a set mission, I loved the skeleton piano. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And I liked. I mean, the one part that of all that under the cave that I thought was real stupid was when Data falls and he's got that weird like Inspector Gadget thing,
Oh,
and he's being held on by like a set of chattering teeth, like is holding his entire
With a spring
body
attached
weight.
to it.
Yeah.
Like
And
that looks
it's-
like the flimsiest thing ever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's totally like saved my life." What?
yeah, and it's not just his weight, it's the weight of all the other gadgets that he has packed in there. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is like bulked up
Okay, so
with all his
Yeah.
stuff.
Data is like if Inspector Gadget was like a 70-year-old Asian woman. Because like the way he talks to like the other kids is like he's like an Asian parent berating a child, you know?
Right.
But then he also has gadgets.
And he also refers to himself in the third person a lot.
Like, exclusively.
Like, but he does go back and forth because I made a note of it. I was like, okay, he refers to himself in the third person. Is that like his thing? But then he starts not doing it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's out the window. So why does he do it at all? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing for me if you're going to refer to yourself in the third person.
Well, and as long as we're talking about characters, I feel like we have to talk about Steph, Martha Plimpton's character, because she is my avatar in this movie.
Yeah.
She
I
is
like her.
completely uninterested in anything that's going on. She thinks everyone is stupid. She's like I really feel, as an adult, she is the closest thing to a character I can relate to in this movie.
Well, I like her
because
line.
she's just over it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Her line about, I feel like I'm babysitting and not getting paid. I was like, me too,
Absolutely.
while watching this.
Yes. That's what Jonathan said too.
Yeah, I so identify with Steph's character. Also, she wears glasses, but then of course she loses her glasses and miraculously
It's not a problem.
it's
Yeah.
only a problem like
Did
at
not-
first.
Well,
Yeah,
and
did
I've
not
noticed
come
her, she dries off so quick. She gets soaking wet and dry and soaking wet and dry, and it's just like that. She just dries off. It's magic.
But that's the advantage of having shorter hair too, you know.
I
Jennifer.
guess so, yeah.
Although I guess Andy also dries off very quickly, despite the fact that she's wearing like heavy, like cardigan type clothes.
I know. Well, that would be the first thing I would do is like take off all those clothes. You're in the water, but you know, they decide to wear a coat, I guess. I don't know.
Full-blown sweater. So let's talk about whether or not this movie lives up to its hype. I kind of feel like I already know what everyone's going to say, but I still want to hear your thoughts on the cultural significance of the movie and whether it has lived up to what you expected or what other people tell you about it. So we'll talk to you first, Caitlin. What do you think about the actual experience versus the hype?
Okay, so I get the hype, but it's not something that where like with Back to the Future where I can watch it like once a month and not get sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do definitely see why people like it so much. It's a feel-good adventure story. Yeah, and also one of the things that I wanted to bring up is that how is it that Chonk and Sloth didn't get a spin-off movie?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, where was that?
I have a lot of thoughts on those two.
Sloth kisses him on the mouth, too.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable.
Okay, no, did you guys notice? Sloth is like holding up the cave, right, for them to escape, and they're all escaping under his legs, which I'm already uncomfortable with. But then as Chunk is going underneath his legs, that's when Sloth chooses to say, I love you, while Chunk is like underneath his crotch. And then Chunk like adopts him like he's a pet. Like, come live with me now. I love you. What? Did he talk to his parents about this? This is a grown man.
There has got to be some... Yeah.
That was a bold move.
Yeah.
There has got to be some legal intervention in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, like, take a person home that's been, like, held prisoner in a basement. Like, something's got to happen
therapy.
Before that. Oh, yeah.
I do want to say, as long as we're discussing Chunk, I always want to call him Chunk, but as long as we're discussing Chunk,
truffle.
I do believe that his interactions with Sloth, for me, are when he is the least annoying in this movie.
Oh, that's true.
Because he's one of those child actors, and we've talked about this before about movies with kid actors in it. He's one of those that like just yells every single line.
Yeah.
Like he never has a quiet moment. It's always like, "Hey guys!" Like even if he's standing right in front of you, he still yells at you. And he gets a little bit more subdued when he's around Sloth, probably because he's afraid of him.
They're a good match
But
together.
they would be a good team to like maybe they could fight crime.
Yeah, Caitlin's right.
Or
They should have
eat
their
ice
own,
cream.
They should have their own spin-off
I would watch
movie.
Yeah.
A spin-off movie where they fight crime and eat ice cream.
But again, you go to it's that 80s trope shorthand where it's like, we know he's the fat kid because all he talks about is food the whole movie. And he's not even
Very
that fat.
stereotypical.
He's not even like that much bigger than Corey Feldman.
Right. Yeah, it's like...
But all he thinks about is food. Oh, is it dinner time? That was another big question I have. What is the time frame of this movie? Because I thought it was the afternoon at the beginning, but then it's not. Maybe it's the morning. I don't know. But then it's still daylight when they're out of the cave.
I think,
has it been a whole day? I don't understand.
I think they're in the cave over the nighttime.
Okay, because it is nighttime at that wishing well part.
Yes.
Okay.
So they go into the cave when it's still light out, but it's just like it's Oregon and it's cloudy and it's gray, so you can never tell what time of day it is because you never see the sun. But they do over the course of overnight time is when they have their adventure in the cave, and then by the time they come out, it's the morning again.
You see, I would also believe that this movie takes place in real time. It's 2
I
hours.
too, honestly.
2 hours
I
flat.
kind of felt that too, that it was, except for I feel like a little bit of time passed from the very beginning when the guy gets out of prison. Maybe it's like a few hours later that they're talking. But yeah, I thought once they were in the cave, it was pretty close to real time. That's what I thought they were trying to say.
What about you, Jennifer? What are your thoughts about the hype of this movie and what your actual experience was?
I do get it. I get why kids in the 80s would like this because it's very much, I do feel like it's of its time. I feel like it's dated. But I get why the hype exists now. But like Caitlin said, it's no Back to the Future. Let's be real. And like we said, it once they're in the cave and doing stuff like that, it is fun. I do get a little tired of the 80s tropes, like with the bully being so ridiculous and over the top. Who would actually behave that way? No one. And with the mirror with Andy, that made me uncomfortable. A lot of stuff with Andy made me uncomfortable. It's just, I'd take her out of this movie, please.
Right?
Yeah.
And some of it's not her fault. Some of it's stuff happening to her. But do we need this? This is and she looks so young. She doesn't look like she's 17 or 18. She looks 13.
Yeah, she looks like Hermione Granger.
Yeah. She looks very young. Everything with her made me uncomfortable. And that's one part where I did not like Martha Plimpton because she just lets it happen. I'm like, girl, step up for your friends. Like, hose before bros. Come on.
Yeah, she
just let it happen.
She dropped the ball on that one because she just thought it was funny. So she's like, oh, it's okay because it's funny.
Yeah, that whole thing made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable where once she found out the truth, she was like, oh, it's fine. And Brand's okay with it too, I guess, because he kind of heard that conversation, didn't seem to react much.
Sure.
But yeah.
It's funny. I thought the same thing at the end when he hears that conversation. It's like, if that was me and I found out that my brother just kissed my girl, I would have freaked out.
Right? He doesn't seem that upset.
No.
Maybe she just kisses everybody, so he's like used to it. I don't know.
Or he's just so in love with her that he's like, I guess she can just treat me bad and I'll still like her anyway. I don't know.
Good times. Oh, the 80s. What about you, Max?
Yes. Fine.
Max's review.
I get it. It deserves its prestige. It will not get it from me, but I get why people like this movie. It's still fun to watch, even if you're hate watching it. It's still fun. It's a fun movie to watch, and it's a great one for this podcast. Like, there's so much in it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
fine.
I would...
I'm not happy about it, but fine. You get prestige. You get popularity.
I would agree. You know, like, just the caliber of talent that's involved. You
exactly.
know, like, getting all of these people together for one movie, that's quite an accomplishment.
And a kid's movie at that.
And a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And everybody's gone on to, you know, with the exception of the girl who played Andy, everybody's gone on to, like, further success. You know, they're obviously very talented. The actors are all really good. The script sometimes is not my favorite. Sometimes it's a little too cartoony, but I totally get why people loved it. Especially, I think, if you had a really good experience surrounding your original viewing of this movie, like, you know, like if you went
like
to like
a sleepover,
like a drive-in or something with your friends or with your family, I could see that this could be like a really fun core memory, and you know, getting to revisit it is fun. You know, I thought it was really fun that there was like a gadget guy, and you know, like, every character basically only has one character trait. You know, there's the gadget guy, there's the asthma guy, there's the exercise guy,
Spanish for no reason guy.
Yeah, the one that just doesn't shut up. I totally get it. Even though this movie is not my favorite of this genre, and it's not my favorite from that era, like it's like Max said, it's still enjoyable to watch.
It is.
I enjoy like watching it to make fun of it sometimes.
Absolutely.
And so I will probably watch it again. You know, it's not one of those where it's like, well, this is the last time I'm ever going to see it.
Yeah.
And kudos to anyone who really loves it, you know, because it's a fun watch. And of course,
why
Andy.
do they never say die?
They never say die, but they say it because they say never say die.
But when
You just don't.
okay.
Why are they
Stop.
why are they suddenly Goonies in the middle of the movie when that wasn't established as part of the given circumstances in the beginning where they call each other Goonies? They don't start calling each other Goonies in
Like
the movie.
I wanted like an
until the middle
explanation
of
of Goonies.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're the Goonies, so this is what we're gonna do. Like they don't really say that. It kind of comes out of nowhere. Another weird phrase that they kept using over and over was the rich stuff.
The rich
The
stuff.
treasure kept getting called the rich stuff by all the characters, and I'm like, what does that mean? Is that a phrase that people would refer to?
Yeah, and they
similar to how they kept calling that Jeep an ORV.
An ORV, and
they were not allowed to say Jeep in that movie, probably because those people were the bad guys, and Jeep doesn't want you advertising their product with bullet holes in it.
Fair.
But yeah, rich stuff and ORV. I had forgotten those things from this movie.
When Chunk is in the freezer with that dead guy, he keeps calling him a stiff, and I'm like, that's not appropriate for this situation. Like, yeah, it's a stiff. What a wise guy. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Also, I gotta throw out there, the movie was rated PG.
Really?
It is not.
Yes.
Oh, they do say shit.
Yeah,
And they talk about sexual torture devices in it.
Right, which just it shows you like how much has changed in the last 37 years. Because I keep bringing it up, but I only ever talk about Back to the Future. That movie is also rated PG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they came out the same year, right?
It did. And it just blows my mind. Because like if the movie was made today, it definitely would get a PG-13.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, PG-13 wasn't really a thing until Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, which I believe was the first PG-13 movie. I don't know where that falls in relation to this movie as far as
I think it came out the year before.
Okay. But yeah, this should have been PG-13. That's another thing I was like, I know it's a kid's movie, but some of this stuff, oh no.
Yeah,
like, I don't want
I think,
my 12 and 13-year-old.
Gun violence against children should be an automatic PG-13.
I don't take much stock into, I don't want my kids picking up bad behaviors from video games and movies, but I wouldn't let my kids watch this movie because I don't want my kids behaving like these children ever.
Oh my God, they would start telling you to shut up.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, and how about,
Imagine.
there's just, I feel like we could talk about this for like 6 hours.
Oh yeah,
but how about the fact that Mikey, his other character trait is that he doesn't know his vocabulary apparently is a challenge, which is a trait that he shares with his mother, who has a broken arm for no reason.
They don't explain that.
Yeah, they don't even say what's wrong with her arm. Her arm is just in a sling.
She's like, she's going to help us move while my arm heals when she's moving tomorrow. So I think you should have got Rosalita about 5 days ago. And maybe make sure
Justice
that
for Rosalina.
Justice for Rosalina.
maybe make sure that you can
Rosalina.
communicate with the person that you hire to come and help you move your stuff. Because I don't think that plan was very well thought out.
Speak a word
of English.
Not one word. How does she even know how she got there? Like, what did she bring her there
That's
for?
what I was just gonna ask. I'm like, how did she get there in the first place if she couldn't speak a lick of English?
And why does she stay? Why does she stay there after being under threat of being like locked in a basement?
Right.
I know.
And she even comes to the beach when they find the kids. Like, she doesn't have a relationship with this family. Shouldn't she be at home packing? Like, why is no one packing in this movie? I mean, I don't want to watch 2 hours of people packing. I want to see some packing when you tell me you're moving the next day.
We've moved a lot. Like, I think I counted my amount of moves one time, and it's around 20. Like, pack, please.
Yeah.
It stresses me out that they keep talking about the fact that they're moving and nothing is ready to go.
Right. Like, if you've ever helped a friend or family member move, and like you show up to like load the truck and they still have everything out.
Oh, yes.
That's what this movie reminds me of. It brings up some traumatic memories.
Triggered big time.
It's like, oh, come and help us for a couple hours, and then you end up spending 2 days because they didn't pack enough before. It's like, oh God. Oh, I can feel
just like throwing crap
feel
in
my anxiety
pillowcases.
rising.
Like, this is your fault. You did this. I don't care if Grandma's silver gets broken. Or your weird David statue that you have for no reason.
But leave it on the coffee table. Like, that's a good place to keep something. And it was like 2 feet tall, too. You know, like, that's a large statue to just have sitting on your coffee table.
On the coffee table. It looked bad. I don't know.
All right. Oh, gosh. You know, we do need to move on, although I feel like, again, we could dissect every single character and every single action that they make.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to move on to the What Do You Mean You've Never Seen awards. And as we always do, our first question, our first award that we give, and we're going to throw this question to you, Caitlin. Is this movie better than the Muppet movie?
Oh, no. No, absolutely not better than the Muppet movie.
We already know it's not better than Back to the Future, but okay. Anybody else want to weigh in on the Muppet controversy?
I would have liked to see Miss Piggy be Data.
Okay.
She would have
what if Miss Piggy was the Fratelli mom instead of the don't throw mama from the train mom?
Miss Piggy a little bit, especially with her crazy eyebrows. Yeah. She had like eyebrows that look like a comet, you know, like when you see a picture of a comet and it's like a ball and then like a shooting out of it. That was her eyebrows.
Wait, have you guys seen that trend that's around? I guess it's primarily mostly on TikTok. It's like you keep one human in the movie, but the rest are played by Muppets.
Yes.
Who would you do that with for this?
Oh, I would definitely. Well, it's kind of hard to say because I definitely would have preferred Miss Piggy as the Mrs. Fratelli. But what if like the Swedish chef was Sloth? But we have to keep one character human. That's what it is. Okay.
Right.
I would keep Brand. I think Brand. He annoyed me the least.
No, but there's lots of like guys with headbands in the Muppets that could do that role.
True. Scooter would be great as Brand.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think maybe I would keep Steph.
Yeah, I would keep
because
Steph too. That's
she's
what I was
already
going to say.
my point of view character in the movie anyway. So I think her interacting with just a bunch of Muppets would be hilarious.
That would be great.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like that's what they should do. Muppet Goonies remake, but they have to keep Martha Plimpton in it. She could just do it now.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
She's just herself, but she's still playing a.
I do have to tell you, when I watched this movie on DVD, because I love director and cast commentaries. I love watching that stuff, even though sometimes I feel like it spoils your enjoyment of the film itself as a film in future viewings. But I listened to one that was Richard Donner and several of the cast, and Martha Plimpton says, to this day, I'll be enacting in like a Pinter play or something super serious, and someone in the audience will yell out, "Goonies!"
Oh, I bet. It happens for all the time. I mean, poor Sean Astin. He's done all kinds of serious roles, and they're still like, "Oh my God, weren't you in Goonies?"
Oh my God! And before
where's your inhaler,
like
Sean Astin?
We have to talk about. I do have to say one thing about Sean Astin is it's so irritating to me when he like stares off into space and starts talking to One-Eyed Willie, or starts giving one of his "This is our time, guys, down here. This is
weird.
He kept trying to give these pep talks that zero people were interested in.
Yeah. No. Like, if that was your pep talk, I'd be like, okay, we're just going to go right now.
Yeah, and there's also more interesting things happening during those pep talks. Like the reveal that One-Eyed Willie's not eye is just solid bone.
That was
It's-
wild. That was
There's
creepy.
like not even a socket there.
Right.
It's
Well,
just
He didn't lose his eye. He just never had one.
No.
Or I wonder if it's like when you get one of your teeth pulled and like, you know how like
It closes
closes up. I wonder if that
maybe.
happens if your eye comes out.
We'll
But not
talk
like
to any
solid
pirates
bone.
out there. Hit us up. Let us know what
Well,
happens.
or people that just
Yeah.
have one eye. And they don't have to be a pirate.
I'd rather they were a pirate.
Same.
Okay, what's our next award?
So we're going to ask Jennifer this first. Name something you like better than this movie and something that you like less.
I had a really good flatbread pizza that had bacon on it and blue cheese and pears, and it was really delicious. I think I like that better than this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And what do you like less?
I mean, I did just come from the dentist, so that's that's kind of a hack answer, but
Yeah.
I liked that less.
Yeah.
Going to the dentist.
How about you, Caitlin? Is there anything that stands out to you that you like better and like less than this movie?
Oh, geez. I liked Baked Ziti more.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's just, just an all-around
Comfort
good
food,
time.
Yeah.
And this ear infection that I'm dealing with right now, I like that less.
Oh,
Poor
yeah.
Caitlin.
No, that's no fun. Max?
One thing that I like better than this movie was my childhood without a large, close, tight friend group. Like, I was fine with that. I don't need these people around me.
You're a lone wolf.
Yeah. And one thing that I like less, I guess we'll just compare ailments now. I dislocated my shoulder recently, and I've much disliked being in pain for the past month. So,
How are you feeling now? Getting any better?
yeah, I mean, I don't feel pain constantly anymore. It's getting better.
Maybe you caught whatever that mom had.
Yeah, I caught. Maybe I caught.
You're coming down with a shoulder dislocation, just
Yeah.
like he was coming down with asthma. I don't think she knows what asthma is.
I don't think so.
I
either.
don't think so.
No.
She certainly
makes
doesn't
it
know
sound
what
like
words
he's like
are.
a sickly child, but it's like he just has asthma.
Like he has consumption.
Yeah,
He will drop.
it's like the kid in the bubble or something.
Living in the
Yeah.
state that probably has the freshest air ever, and you go out, it's like, no, if he sets one foot outside, he will drop dead instantly. All right, next award. Who is the winner of this movie, and who is the loser of this movie? What do you think, Caitlin?
Sloth is clearly the winner.
Oh yeah.
Clearly the winner. Who is the loser? I guess homeboy who is trying to buy up the land is the loser.
Oh, rich man in trench coat.
Oh yeah.
That classic character. Yeah. I guess he got screwed over because all of a sudden they have diamonds now, so he doesn't get his golf course? Question mark.
Although
Right.
we do see another golf course and country club elsewhere in the movie.
Yeah.
The land of country clubs, Astoria, Oregon, I guess.
Yeah. What about you, Jennifer? Who's the winner? Who's the loser?
Sloth is a great answer for winner, but I don't want to take her answer. I'm going to say Data's dad is the winner because he gets to have a camera pop out of his belt and have it not work. The loser of this movie is that guy that was in the freezer. That looked awful. I would hate to be frozen to death.
Right. And these were federal agents that they just like shot and
These
I
are
guess.
got rid of.
It's
They
that
weren't very good
classic thing
agents.
where it's like these criminals are either incredibly competent, better than any criminals have ever been, or they're the least. Or they're a cartoon. Like,
Yeah,
and why do they look like they're from the 30s? Is it just me?
yeah,
Like,
she's definitely got that
Yeah.
fascinator hat on, which is not of that era.
No,
I don't
no.
feel. She was not on the cutting edge of fashion like Rhett Butler
Well,
in
she
Gone with the
should-
Wind
She should have been having her sweatpants and shorts on. I mean, clearly.
and leg warmers. All right, Max, what's your answer?
Ooh. Okay. So who won the movie? Did anybody die in this movie?
That guy in the freezer.
Well, and the other one that they took away and buried. Yeah, it was like two
but,
federal
no,
agents that
okay,
they killed.
but like no like major character that you see on screen like acting died in this
I
movie.
don't
no,
think so.
no.
Okay.
No.
Because they never say die,
okay.
Max, obviously.
Okay.
Duh.
In which case, I think I lost this movie. Final answer: I think I lost this movie because nobody died. So I lost this movie. Who won? I think Chunk won this movie because he got a new pet and he got his food, and he just I don't know. He seems really happy, and he didn't have to like kiss anyone or like.
Well, he did.
He did.
Well, he kissed
Sloth.
Sloth, but and I love that journey for them together, but also I hate it and maybe like calm that down a bit. But yeah, I think he won. He seemed very happy, and he didn't have to
seem
have.
happy.
He
like-
did receive a large Domino's pizza at like 6 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning
At
when
the
they got to the
beach.
beach.
Oy.
I love eating pizza at the beach.
It's my favorite. And like his character is annoying, but you can tell that he's actually very talented as a child actor.
Jonathan. I think we
Jonathan
lost
is
Jonathan.
dying. We did.
Ah!
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the one food you never want to eat at the beach? Pizza.
Oh yeah,
There
for
would be
sure.
sand all over it. Oh my god.
Especially if that car race goes by you. You know, that classic beach car race goes by you and ruins your beach pizza.
Oh god.
There is so much happening in this movie. Oh my god, yeah. So beach pizza, definitely not the winner of this movie. Okay, so everybody's already picked what I originally was going to say for the winner and the loser. So I'm going to say the winner in this movie has got to be Steph. Yeah. Because you know what? She's her own person, and they really try to like force some kind of a romantic entanglement between her and Mouth, and she is not having it.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it was maybe even in the script, and Martha Plimpton was like, no, absolutely not. Like Richard Donner called action, and they were supposed to kiss, and she was like, nope, not going to do it.
Nope.
Absolutely not. I reject the premise of this scene. And the loser has got to be that dude that was trying to look down Andy's blouse.
Oh god, yeah.
He is such a loser.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at the end because it turns out man with trench coat is his dad, I guess. And she gives him his Letterman sweater back, and he ends up just embarrassed, and he doesn't get to be Josh Brolin. You know, like who doesn't want to be Josh Brolin? Yeah. You know, he does not get to be Thanos. Well, he does not get to be Cable.
What I don't understand is like, you know, they paint Brand as being like a dork and a loser, and you know that guy's like the cool guy. But I'm like, we don't have any evidence to suggest that Brand is not a cool jock guy. Like, but he's not at the same. I'm like, he's working out. He's got all the classic things, but then turns out because he doesn't have a Letterman jacket, he's not status. I guess maybe because they're not rich.
Maybe he can't afford the jacket because those jackets are expensive.
Like $400.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And and I find his interactions with Mikey are so bizarre. Like maybe it is realistic, you know, because certainly not my relationship with my younger brothers. One minute he's like, you're such a pain in the ass, I hate you. And then they have that weird scene on the porch where they hug for like no reason. He's like, oh, I know you're upset. It's like their relationship is just all over the map the whole time.
Oh yeah.
There's not really an arc to it. Like you would expect that it would be like they start off, you know, not really getting along. And then as the movie happens and they go through their adventures, they get closer. And at the end, they're more of a tight-knit bros. Right. But they go from antagonism to warmth to antagonism to warmth again, and it's just everywhere.
I guess siblings can be like that.
Actually,
I mean, sometimes I do push Jennifer down a giant water slide for fun.
Well, that was actually our brothers that did that. True story, but we won't talk about that.
It's actually kind of exactly like what my relationship with my brother was in childhood. We were constantly friend enemies back and forth forever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel like it's somewhat realistic.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. So let's rate this movie. So what you got to do for this part of the awards is pick a metric that is related to the film that we're watching, and you give it however many out of 5. For me, I'm going to give this movie 3 out of 5 skeletons with no eye socket because it's a good movie. I don't think it's great. I think it, you know, I have a little bit of bad feelings about it because it's like wasted potential because the talent behind it is so awesome.
Yeah.
I felt like this could, and you know, not to bring it up again, but I think this could have launched a franchise like Back to the Future did because I mean, oh my God, like amazing people behind it. It's kind of just never went anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 skeletons with no eye socket. How about you, Jennifer?
I will give it 3 out of 5 skeleton pianos because I love that piano. I thought that was like the coolest thing. I don't know why that part really got to me. I was like, ooh, she's playing it like it's a piano. For the same reasons. I mean, it's a fun adventure movie. I get like, there's some things I would take out of it to make it a true kids movie, but it's a good kids movie. I could see why it was popular in the 80s. I get why people are attached to it. I don't personally have much attachment to it, but like you said, I mean, it definitely could have been like a Spy Kids or like it definitely could have had more to it. There could have been a Chunk and Sloth spinoff, 100%. So yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Sure, yeah. I'd give it about a 2.5 completely destroyed plumbing systems. Yeah, it's I can see why it's a great movie, but there's just so much in it that I hate in society itself that I can't honestly. I get it, it's a good story. I get why people like it. It's not for me.
And what do you think, Caitlin? What's your rating?
I would give this movie 3.5 broken David penises.
Perfect. That's the winner of the podcast.
Caitlin won the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I it made me feel very nostalgic. It made me feel like a kid again. There were lots of good laughs. I mean, that whole beginning part with Rosalita, I was having dinner while I was watching it last night and I literally choked. And the one thing that we haven't discussed though that I really wanted to bring up quickly is how did the pirate ship get from down below where it was to getting back up on the surface on the beach?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
How and by whom? Because those children barely made it out of there. What exit did the pirate ship take?
I mean, I guess they exploded it, but I don't know how that the pirate ship would actually like come up from underground and under the water and still float and be able to be up. I don't know.
How did it get there in the first place?
It's like those boats in Moana, when she goes and finds them in the cave.
Yeah. How did
it's
they get down there?
it's a very
It's a very good question.
convoluted ending, I think.
Well, like I said, questions.
Much
I
like
have
Pizza
so
on the
many-
Beach.
So many questions about this movie.
Pizza on the beach.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
So
All right, so we're going to move into our final segment now. We just want to hear any final thoughts or feelings if you have any more hot takes other than pizza on the beach. We're going to throw it to you first, Caitlin, if there's anything else you still wanted to bring up or any other notes you still had.
No, I think the boat appearing up out of nowhere was my one final thing. And wait, when Chunk and Sloth kiss, it was funny because I was, watching this with my wife last night.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was like, oh, that's a little weird. And she's like, he's Italian. It's fine. So to get back on that, but yes, I believe that they absolutely deserved some sort of a spin-off TV show. It's not fair that the story just kind of ended there. I would have loved to have seen what life was like, the two of them living together. It could have been like The Odd Couple.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
What about you, Jennifer? What else you got to say?
So my husband, when I was watching this, and all he, I was watching it in the other room, but all he hears from me in the other room is like, what? What just happened? Wait, what? So all he would say was like, you gotta give it a chance. I'm like, I am, and it's failing on me. But
So are you telling us right now on this podcast, Jim loves this movie?
I think Jim was definitely like, Jim grew up in a house full of boys, and I feel like this is like a young boys kind of movie for the most part, right? That's like the target audience. So I think he does. He loves this movie. He loves Sloth. He loves all of it. And I was like, okay,
I would never have guessed that. This totally does not seem like a Jim Branch joint.
He's a fan. But yeah, final thoughts are just more questions. I just have so many questions, and I like Data better as Short Round. Data can go away. He kind of got on my nerves, as did most of them, especially Andy.
Yeah, no justice for Andy, that's for sure.
No.
She was a hoe.
She was such a hoe. Oh, she just would go with anyone. What about you, Max?
I have plenty of notes that we did not touch on. I'm going to just try to speed right through them. Can you shoot gasoline to ignite it? A lot of my notes are just, I hate this movie. There was a Jew versus Italian face-off, which was crazy when Chunk gets caught by what's his face, the one true Italian in this movie, and he starts singing that beginning to every Jewish prayer, and then the Italian guy just chimes in trying to up him with Italian singery, and I was like, what just happened? What is going on?
That's Baruch Atah Adonai, by the way.
Yeah.
There you go. Max, you should have known that.
Yeah,
Come on,
I
do
do know that. I wanted to generalize it. I am a Jewish person.
Me too.
Woo! Jews! Let's beat the Italians.
Oh my God.
Caitlin's wife is Italian.
Oh,
I know,
Jews
I'm married
versus
an Italian.
Italians. Jews versus Italians.
Hey, pizza bagels for everyone,
Oh,
okay?
yeah, absolutely.
But not on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Can you imagine?
No.
Pizza bagels on the beach. Oh, my God. I'm starting to get highs just thinking about it.
I wrote, there is not a better example of toxic masculinity in children than this movie, and I am including Lord of the Flies in that.
Ooh.
These children are, toxic. They are constantly, putting each other down and calling each other stupid. And I'm including, the female children in this. They are also toxic masculine characters. That might just be my own childhood trauma coming up. But these children are toxic male figures. What the hell is a Goonie? Of course, over and over again.
They never say die.
That water slide sequence is like just a bit too long for me, and it's clearly just a water slide that they put a bunch of vines on, and I think that's actually kind of great. Data's kind of ride or die when they get caught at the bottom of that pirate ship. He's just like, it is time for us to die.
He's ready.
He is like ready to embrace his death.
He jumps into the breach more than one time in this movie.
Ring Around the Rosie is not a jump rope song. It is not. And they don't realize that the dynamite is dynamite
even
till
though
the end
it
of the
says
movie.
dynamite on the
Even
side.
though it says dynamite on it, and didn't Data already use it to put those booby traps
Very
down?
clearly. I was like, did they really think these were just candles?
I think some of them were flares, and there was just one of them that was dynamite.
Okay. They all
that
look
checks
the same.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Most of my notes are really just like, I hate this movie, kids suck. Yeah.
They do kind of like everybody bullies everybody in this movie.
Yeah, and that's like, it's literally my childhood experience of why I didn't like most children, was because children are like that. I just hate it.
Even Mikey, who's supposed to be our like the hero of the story, he's always telling Mouth to shut up and they're mean to Chunk. The truffle shuffle,
like you feel like Chunk is like the victim, the picked on one.
Yeah.
But then when he starts like telling all the stories of all the horrible things he's done, I'm like, you're a bully too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And it's
yeah, for sure.
Bullies recognize bullies.
Yeah.
And it's really the thing I just can't get over in this movie, because no matter how fun or funny it is to watch, that makes me feel bad on the inside.
Oh. That's understandable.
Unlike Pizza on the Beach, which makes you feel bad everywhere.
I love it though.
That has to be the title of this episode.
Pizza on the beach?
We'll tell our artwork guy. He creates a different piece of artwork for each movie. We'll tell him that to make that the icon. Just a slice of pizza on the beach.
Pizza by the ocean.
Sandy pizza. I mean, I would rather die than eat that. I really would. Goonies never say die. I say never pizza on the beach.
Yup.
So this has been a super fun experience.
It has.
I told you guys you'd like Caitlin. She's a good time.
Yeah, this has been really fun. And we thank you so much for coming, Caitlin. Is there anything you want to plug? Want people to get in touch with you or anything?
Absolutely. You can always follow me personally on social if you want to. That's at Caitlin Larkin on Twitter, Caitlin Larkin 089 on Instagram and TikTok. But if you love Back to the Future, please listen to my podcast, What the Flux. You can find that anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on social at What the Flux Pod on Twitter and Facebook, as well as Instagram. That's What the Flux _pod.
Awesome.
Ooh.
I'm definitely going to listen.
Absolutely.
Jennifer did not tell us about this.
I did too.
I don't remember. I love Back to the Future stuff, so I'm going to definitely listen to it. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We're sorry about your ear infection, but thank you for powering through for us.
Yeah, feel better.
Of course, guys. My pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that we were able to make this happen. And if there's any other movies that we all haven't seen, I'd love to come back.
We would love to have you back.
And Caitlin got a shout out is one of my Beatle buddies. She loves the Beatles probably more than I. One of the few people that might love them more than I do. So
that's a tall order.
Yeah,
it is.
So
well, if there's ever an episode where there's somebody who hasn't seen any of the Beatles movies, we could totally do that.
I bet Max hasn't.
Honestly, I haven't seen any of the Beatles movies.
You actually might like them more than you might think you would.
I think I've seen segments of them, but I don't think I've seen any of them all the way
I think
through.
you'd like Help a lot.
Probably, yeah.
So we will definitely have to add Hard Day's Night and Help to the list. I think we already have Yellow Submarine, which I know doesn't star the real Beatles, but it's
they're there. They make
portrayed.
an appearance. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, we would love to have you back for that.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, I'm so down.
And if we find someone who hasn't seen Back to the Future, we'll bring them on so you can slap them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
There will be slappage.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Caitlin. Good to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I know you got a lot going on in work and stuff. So thanks for joining us and taking time for us.
Of course. My pleasure.
And we definitely look forward to talking to you again.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much again, Caitlin. Yeah, check her out on Twitter and Instagram. I know I'm going to. So.
Yeah, we'll put links to her stuff in the description below.
Yes. Thank you, Max.
Absolutely.
And thank you, as always, for your editing and publishing skills. We're going to encourage you again to keep on keeping on.
I will do my best. Doing my best.
He's doing his very best. And we're so excited about the episodes that have already been released at the time of this recording. And there's so much more good stuff coming, everyone. So keep coming back, keep downloading. So now we're going to talk about what we're going to watch and review next. Our next film is Blade Runner. Yeah, we're going to watch Blade Runner. Now, this is a movie that I have never seen. And I have purposely never watched it because it sounds like it's totally not up my alley. And also it's one of those that's been re-edited and redone 15 times.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of versions that have been released. I believe we're going to watch this on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think that when I looked it up, that's what it was on.
So whatever the version is that's on HBO Max is the one that we're going to do. Sorry for those of you who wanted us to do the one that has the weird narration or the second director's cut or the 15th director's cut. Whatever is available on HBO Max, that's the version we're going to watch.
Okay.
It sounds good.
We also got Alien coming up, and that's going to be the original version of the movie, not the director's edition, is what we're going to review. We'll do director's cuts if they're available, but we're not going to pay money for that.
We're trying to find the easiest available way to watch these movies. We're not hunting down some special edition DVD for the most part.
Sure.
We're just trying to watch what's easily available for everyone.
We don't even have a DVD player. I mean, we'd have to play it on our computer and hook it up to the TV, which, I'm too old for that kind of stuff. Maybe Max still has the energy for it, but, with the injured shoulder, it's harder.
Yeah, I need another arm to help me out.
Yes, we are going to talk about Blade Runner next, and we are going to have a very special guest. I don't know, should we keep it a surprise, or should we tease who our guest is going to be?
I don't know, because I don't know who the guest is. So you're going to have to tell
Jennifer
me.
has clearly not read her schedule prior to this recording.
I have not been keeping up with the Google Docs, sorry.
Yes, we have a very special guest who works with both Max and myself. She is a professional entertainer. We'll say that. And we're very excited.
I think I remember now.
She has seen this movie before. She's the only one of us that has seen it.
Oh, wow.
All three of us have never watched any version. I've never watched any version of this. Have you guys ever watched anything?
No, I have
second
not.
Of this movie.
I don't even know what this movie is about.
I have
at all. No clue at all.
I think future. That's all I got.
I feel like the feeling I get is that it's like a future dystopia type deal, but I really have no idea.
No
about
idea.
The plot
is it like a game show? Or am I thinking of a different movie? It's like a
You're
game
thinking
show
of The Running Man.
Ah, crap. Never mind.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Then I really don't know what this
Which is another
about.
movie I've never seen.
Yeah, we should probably add that to the list too.
But Blade Runner is a movie starring Harrison Ford and directed by Ridley Scott.
Oh, this is the Harrison Ford one.
Wow.
Okay.
So you guys really don't know anything about it, huh?
Zero.
No.
No idea what we're in.
I mean, I do know that when you Google the name of this podcast, what do you mean you've never seen? A meme pops up that is, what do you mean you've never seen Blade Runner? Specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
So I feel like we had to do this movie so that, maybe we could get in on some of those Google searches too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I really have no idea. Then now that you say Harrison Ford, that sounds familiar. But other than that, no clue. No clue what this is about.
Yep.
I do know that it has something to do with androids.
Okay.
And I think Harrison Ford is a police officer who hunts down rogue androids.
Like Time Cop.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to my understanding of it is the AI artificial intelligence movie that Steven Spielberg directed with the kid from Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment. Yeah, I think it's that kind of a super electronic future with lots of neon and maybe flying cars. I think there might be flying cars in this.
Okay.
No.
Is there roller blades? Is that where the blade comes from?
No. I think you're.
I'm thinking of a different movie.
You're also thinking of a different movie. You're thinking of
Xanadu.
No, there is a movie
You're
that's
thinking
future
of
rollerblades.
Batman and Robin when the ice skates come out of Batman's boots.
I think I do know what you're talking. There's some
weird future movie where
there's
they're on
a weird
rollerblades.
future it's in space too, where they're on. I forget what it's called.
We have to look that up, but I feel like that's definitely a movie. I don't think I'm making it up in my head. Not this one though. No, that's not this movie.
Is it Solar Babies? Solar Babies.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
a
Solar
thing.
Babies that we're thinking of.
I have
Anyways.
no idea what either of you are talking
Yeah,
about.
I've never seen Solar Babies, but I've listened to
I feel like I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah,
like
I've heard of
or
it.
on YouTube or something.
Yeah, is it like Muppet Babies?
No, it's
No.
nothing like Muppet Babies.
Oh, that's too
There's
bad.
no babies in it. I don't know why it's called Babies.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like roller derby, but in space.
Something like
We
that.
don't need to watch it. It's
I don't
okay.
think so.
I don't think it qualifies for this podcast.
Doesn't I've never heard of it, so I don't think so. All right. So yeah, we will be watching Blade Runner. Again, you can watch the version that's available on HBO Max. If you watch a different version, we will not be reviewing that version. So sorry about that.
Whoops.
We're not doing 2 Blade Runner episodes.
Maybe if we get like maybe we'll do like a Patreon donation thing where if you donate a certain amount of money to us, we'll review a different version of Blade Runner.
I don't know how strongly people are going to feel about that, but you
never know. Fandom is a very
strange
thing. It's unpredictable what people will be fans of.
I mean, it's like people are already mad at us because there's movies that we didn't like that they're big fans of. So
I think this week, the week that we're recording this, we received our first comments from internet trolls.
Yeah, we have trolls.
Which I said, I'm going to choose to wear that as a badge of honor because obviously it means that our little podcast is getting out there and it's getting in front of people's faces. And if you get mad at what we say, I guess that's your problem.
Yeah, we do have a guest that's coming up in the next few weeks that I think might have a bone to pick with us about our Princess Bride episode, unfortunately.
Oh, jeez.
People feel very strongly about these things. I don't know.
Yep. Okay. So, that's our next episode. Hope you guys all tune in to watch it. Hope that everyone is still liking and subscribing and downloading. Thank you for checking us out on our YouTube channel. We, as always, encourage you to view our little video that Max puts out every week on YouTube. You can find us everywhere at What You Mean You've Never Seen. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram.
Yep. Check the links in the description below.
Yes. And again,
follow
follow
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
I'm following Caitlin.
Give us those
Doing that
5-star
after this.
reviews because that's another way that more people are going to hear about the podcast. And tell your friends and tell your enemies.
Yeah,
why not?
tell everybody.
If you just met like a giant man with weird eyes and ears that wants to kiss you, you can tell him about it.
Maybe he likes podcasts,
Yeah, I mean, he probably likes podcasts.
He doesn't do a lot while he's sitting there chained. Might as well listen to
He likes pirate movies, so maybe he'll like this podcast. All right, I'm your host, Jonathan, signing off for the week, and I'm going to throw it to you all to say goodbye.
As always, please take care of your eyebrows, and Goonies never say die.
I'll say they should die. Hey, goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. Love ya.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
See you at the movies.
What Do You Mean You've Never Seen is written by Jonathan Cologne. Theme song and editing by Maxwell Abelman. Cover art by James Alexander. Your hosts are Jonathan Cologne, Jennifer Branch, and Max Abelman. Please visit whatdoyoumeanyou'veneverseen.buzzsprout.com for more great episodes and links to our social media and Patreon pages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the movies.